Now, moving on to episode 2, it starts with the logos again, and then it goes straight to a bedroom. Where
but the logo's a bit differently this time. It actually mimics the Bewitched show back in the 1960s, but it's in grayscale instead of colour.
Yeah, but before that intro happens, there's the bit in the bed where there's some banging on the window or outside, and Wanda's woken up, and then she's like, oh, Vision, go and do that. And they have like that married thing where the man's meant to go out and be all manly, and he's more scared than she is, and she's like, well, what are you going to do about it? And then there's some hanky-panky going on in the room.
There's definitely a 9+ show.
Yeah. We were discussing this earlier. It's like this show is rated 9+ on Disney for some odd reason. Like, it's the lowest rated Marvel property, I think, out of all of the stuff that they've released. Except for maybe, like, really kid-friendly content. But this is, like, still meant for adults and stuff because of everything about Marvel.
Yeah, of course.
But this...
People are outcrying about that, you know?
What?
About being a lower rating.
Yeah, who cares?
They're like, it's a lower rating! It's gotta be bad!
Ratings mean nothing, because an R rating in America is just if it has a bunch of swear words. Like, that's all that makes it R rated.
I mean, over here, you actually have to have some kind of blood.
Like, Deadpool...
Like a serious amount.
Deadpool 1 is a 15 over here. It's not 18.
And 2. 1 and 2.
Yeah, 1 and 2 are 15 over here. They're not, like, extreme violence. It's just because there's boobs in Deadpool, which makes it immediately... In America, you can't have boobs or anything. Like, that's...
Over here you can.
Yeah. The British love
Very
it.
European.
Yeah, speaking of, there's no, like, visual sex, but they do close the beds together, because for some odd reason there are 2 separate beds, because it's the classic married couple thing where you have 2 beds, and then you push the beds together when you want to get hanky-panky, and then they pull the covers over, and you cut away to the intro screen that Dan was talking about. And then you get into...
there's also, they made a joke about redecorating as well.
Yeah.
At the start, which is, I imagine, them shifting from one...
And then the premise of the show, the episode premise happens, and they're meant to be performing at some event for kids, because it's Think of the Children.
For the children.
For the children. And they're doing...
you know what I thought of when I heard that?
Simpsons?
No, for the greater good. Hot Buzz.
I thought of the Simpsons, the children. Won't someone think of the children? But yeah, they're doing a magic performance because Wanda is a magic and whatnot. But Vision's the one who's performing because he's the man, and Wanda has to be the sexy assistant.
Yeah.
Because
welcome to sexism, people. What it was like in 1960s.
And so they're playing around with a cupboard, and it's like all the hacky. Because none of this is, like, real magic that they're doing. It's all, like, practical magic that, like, anyone could do if they had a magic kit. And they have, like, a cupboard, and it's like, oh, it's the spinning back door that they can hide behind. And it's, I'll pull a rabbit from a hat, but it's got the little trap door under the table thing.
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh, we're going to do great. And then Wanda steps outside, and this is all in black and white. But then there's some banging outside. And she walks out, and she sees some red and yellow. And she walks over to her bushes, and there's a red and yellow helicopter.
Which is weird, because what does that mean? Why is it a helicopter?
I thought it was like a spy drone at first that was hovering around their house, but it looks like just a toy. There's like no tech in it or anything.
I suppose maybe like kind of the only other thing it could be is reference that she's having a kid later on.
Maybe.
But that's kind of as much as I can think of in the show. I'm very much in the dark in the show. I don't like it.
But then she meets up with her friend from the last episode.
Agnes?
I think the name changes, because I thought she was Diane in the last episode, and then she's Agnes in this.
Oh yeah, I think you're right, actually.
That's something that... So maybe she'll change names in the next episode, and then we can confirm whether or not she... But then she walks up and her friend tells her about this bitchy lady who is running the event and is like really stuck up and hates anyone who isn't perfect. And Wanda's trying to impress her and doing a terrible job. And I think she meets Monica Rambeau's daughter? Is
Monica Rambeau?
From Captain Marvel. The friend of Captain Marvel. You know her you know her daughter?
Yeah.
I think that's who that lady that she's talking to, who's all nice and friendly to her, is meant to be.
Oh, wow.
because she keeps saying she doesn't know why she's there.
Oh.
And I think in one of the trailers, there's a scene where a lady who looks very similar to this one, but in color, because it's black and white in this, and then in the trailers it's color because it's probably further along down the line. She comes disheveled and is like, "Why am I here to wander?" And she can't answer. But I think it's the same character. But I think that person's meant to be maybe Monica Rambeau's daughter.
Right.
So they're tying it into Captain Marvel.
Theory.
I think it's meant to be because I
have
know
to see.
I know the character is in the show. I don't know if that character is that character though. I can't.
It probably
remember.
is. If it isn't, I'd imagine it.
Because I don't know why they would spend so much time on that character if it wasn't that.
Yeah,
character.
I noticed that. Maybe you're right. Oh my God.
And then it goes to Vision going to the town watch meeting, where they're just a bunch of lads talking about rumors about other men and how they're all
Just a big gossip group, basically.
yeah. And then Vision's like the dorky nerd who no one wants to talk to, and then he makes a communist joke, and he gets in with the lads. And
of course, communism in '96.
Yep. And then he eats some gum and gets drunk because it clogs up his gears.
Yeah, well, supposedly, but I think that stuff was weird to me.
Yeah, because I don't think he has gears.
No, he doesn't.
But I think
he's an android. He actually has flesh.
He's got it's vibranium. It's vibranium made to look like flesh.
Yeah, but it's like infused in. It's like all infused.
I don't think
it's made in the cradle. That can make.
Yeah, it's
flesh,
it's a vibranium mesh that is flesh-like because it's got the same. It's got the same structural integrity as vibranium, but because it's made of mesh, it can do the weird phasing shit, density stuff that Vision can do for some. But yeah, because it's like the perfect body. That's why Ultron wanted it. But yeah, then he I don't know.
And they sort of had the kind of more Bewitched kind of references. They had kind of the cartoons in between, whereas it showed the gum getting stuck in the gears.
Yeah, and it's like clogging it up, and then he's like, "Oh, I'm so fiddly diddly. I'm so drunk, and I don't know what I'm doing, and I've lost all inhibitions."
And then they kind of cut back to
Wanda and bitchy lady,
horrible lady.
I don't remember the lady's name, but
I think I have a D.
Diane.
Yeah, maybe Dina.
Maybe. Correct us if we're wrong in the comments, people. It'll be weeks after this episode's air, and we'll maybe learn her name again.
Yeah, and then Wanda's cleaning up basically after the PTA meeting or whatever it is.
And then she gets in an argument or like a discussion with the lady over why is she here? I think that's the reason. And then a voice on the radio starts coming through asking, what's doing this to you? What's happening? Why?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah. And I at first thought that was Doctor Strange, because I know WandaVision is tied to the Multiverse of Madness, which is the Doctor Strange movie. And I thought, it sounds kind of American English, Benedict Cumberbatchy. And it's kind of distorted, so it's kind of hard to tell if it is Benedict Cumberbatch, like, asking, why are you in here? Because he might be trying to break her out of this reality.
Yeah.
Kind of snap her back. And then the bitchy lady cuts herself, and you can see red, because it's actual blood red.
Yeah, I was like, it's the second reference similar to the helicopter. It
Yeah.
seems to be always red.
Red and yellow, because Vision's face is red and yellow, or like a...
And her powers are red as well.
Yeah. And then we get another ad, speaking of ads from our last episode, but it's for a watch this time, and the watch has a Hydra symbol on it, and it's called the Strucker, which is the guy who created her. Because the dude Baron von Strucker...
This show, man, it's just something else.
It's an interesting thing, and also it's, again, more blatant sexism, because it's like, men only have two things that they need. A woman on their side, and a Strucker watch. And that's all they need.
I don't know what it is, but I really like the comedy in the show. It's not even good comedy, I just like the comedy.
I think it's just making fun of the things that people used to enjoy. And then it cuts to the talent show, and Wanda's panicking because she's like, what is going on? Where is Vision? And Vision turns up drunk be gum in his system, and then
I actually really like this whole scene.
yeah, it's like Vision starts doing outlandish, crazy shit, and Wanda has to start fixing it by making it look old timey and shit. So Vision starts floating, and then she cranks up a rope, and they all go, "Oh, that's how they did it! A rope that wasn't there 10 seconds ago." and then he starts picking up a piano, and it's like a really heavy piano, and then she makes it like a cardboard cutout, and she just walks away, and it's like, "Oops, you weren't meant to see how we did that."
Yeah, then the guy on the road was like, "No, that was my grandmother's."
Yeah, that was a good joke. I like that joke because it's like, that was my and it's just they never explain what happens after that. And then he does the classic card trick where he's go pick a card, any card, and then he's like, "That's not my card," and then he just goes through the entire deck and just goes, "That's my card," and then the dude actually accepts that it's his card. So that's the strange thing that happens, because the reality of it is like, even if the thing's bad, they still like it.
Yeah, I was like, what?
And then there's a rabbit on the stage that was the friend lady gave to her.
Yeah, and then Vision put a hat through his stomach.
Yep, and then it's just mirrors, and then they go, "Is that how mirrors work? Shut up!" That was my favorite joke of the episode, because it's just like how every fucking thing explains magic is just mirrors, and it's just like, shut the fuck up. And I love that joke. That was great. And then they do the cupboard trick, but Wanda isn't in the cupboard, and then Wanda's like, "Honey, I'm not," and then they go, "Oh shit," and then they start booing at them or something. No, they start going, "What's in the cupboard?"
Yeah, what's in the cupboard?
And then they snap the lady who Wanda was talking to at the thing, who's the like one of the people who's letting everyone on.
Who you think is
Monica?
child.
Yeah, Monica Rambeau. Remember which one? Which is, if the kid's name is Monica?
I don't remember anyone's names in that film.
And then they snap her into the cupboard, and she has a little scene where she goes, "1 minute I was backstage, and the next I'm in a cupboard. How'd you do that?" And they go, "A magician never tells his secret, but I've got my assistant here, and she's keeping her lips sealed." And they go, and then they go home, and then they're like, "Would you want kids or something like that?" Is the conversation?
Yeah, and then all of a sudden she becomes pregnant.
Yeah, just balloon belly straight away.
And then they hear another banging from outside, and they go outside.
And they go to investigate.
And then the same sinister music plays from the first episode.
And then I didn't realize that. And then a sewer grate pops off, and a guy in a bee suit with a bunch of bees around him comes out. And he looks at them, and then Wanda goes, "Nope," and then it rewinds back to the point where she's pregnant again, because they were about to kiss before the banging on the...
Yeah.
And then they kiss, and then Vision gets color in his face, and then Wanda turns around and everything is getting color again. And then that's where it ends.
Yeah,
with every...
strange. And it kind of leads like to sort of more what's behind this. So I thought maybe Hydra's behind this somehow, because they had the Strucker watch.
Yeah, I think maybe it's Sword. I don't know. Maybe Sword's trying to fix it, and Hydra's the one responsible for it. But isn't Hydra like gone? Because like it's gone in Agents of Shield. It's gone
even then. It's gone in Agents of Shield.
Yeah, like they destroyed it in Agents of Shield. It's gone in the Marvel universe, like the movies at least. So maybe it's a maybe they're bringing in AIM from the like comics.
Or maybe AIM.
Bring MODOK, because MODOK's got like mind power, like telekinesis stuff. So they might change him to be.
Maybe we will have to wait and see. And I think that's it for my.
But overall, first 2 episodes really good. You'll immediately hear our thoughts on episode 3 in about 2 seconds, but that's about it now. Peace.